asking about that. And there's no way I'm putting my hair up like that. That's what's not. We're just gonna leave it down. That was terrible. Hey guys, it's Sam, and in today's video, I am going to be doing a chit chat, get ready with me, a life update. I feel like I haven't seen you guys and actually spoke to you in, 2 years. It has been. I'm actually really nervous to make this video because I suck at multitasking. So I feel like talking and doing something at the same time, not gonna go well. Yeah, I've already gotten a few questions asking about like my paranormal experiences and what has happened over the past year. So that's kind of the main thing I wanted to update you guys on. And if anything else comes into my brain that I want to tell you, I'll tell you. But mostly it's gonna be spooky stuff. The only thing is like the makeup with the paranormal doesn't really I don't know why I'm combining them, but I realized it's okay because I made a cake and told you guys my paranormal stories once. So I was like, if you guys let that slide, you'll let this slide, right? Let me just wet my beauty blender without getting up. It takes way longer, but I would rather do this than go to the sink. Okay, oh my god, is that shelf so crooked? Which one? One of them looks very crooked. So usually I tell you guys like 3 really long, scary stories, but actually in this past year, it's been more of, little things happening, like nothing huge happened. So this is gonna be like a bunch of little tiny spooky things that have happened around the house. So this first one happened most recently. I feel like we're on FaceTime right now. I feel like I'm on FaceTime. And ew, does this happen to anybody else? Like there's little wires coming out of my beauty blender. What does that mean? So the first one happened most recently, and this is kind of what I was like, okay, maybe I should do another paranormal update video. So I like to hang out downstairs and listen to music on the little Siri, what's it called? Apple Home or iHome. What's that called? You know what I'm talking about. The little like Alexa but Apple version. I listen to music on there and I'll like cook or I'll just, clean up the kitchen, whatever I'm doing. So I had on Frank Sinatra one night. I don't know if that's embarrassing or not, but I was listening to like Frank Sinatra. Yeah, I'm listening to Frank Sinatra, whatever. And I connect it on my phone. So I'll use it as a speaker. Instead of like asking her just to play the music, I'll just like connect to the speaker and play it myself. So as I feel like it's pretty important to the story. So I'm done doing whatever I'm doing. I shut it off and go about the rest of my night, go in my room, whatever. A few days later, I'm sitting in my room. And this is so spooky. I don't know if it, once I retell the stories, I realize how scary they are. I feel like I used to say that a lot in my other videos, but it's so true. I think I need to put my hair up. I think it's driving me crazy, and I'll just put the top layer up. A couple of days goes by, and I'm sitting in my room, kind of just hanging out, whatever, watching YouTube, whatever I was doing. And, my dad starts yelling my name. I go downstairs, and I come out of my room, and he's like, "Are you playing music?" And I was like, "No, I'm not. I'm not playing music." And I checked my phone, and I was like, "Okay, my phone's not playing music. I don't know." And he was like, "Well, this speaker is playing music." And I was like, "So I don't think anything of it." And I just go in my mom's room and check her phone, and I was like, "You're playing music on your phone." And she's like, "No, I'm not." And I was like, "Well, something's connected to the Siri, like it's playing music." I check her phone, and it's not connected. And then I check her iPad, and it's not connected. And I was like, this is weird. So I go downstairs and I listen to the song it's playing, and it's playing Frank Sinatra, "The Best Is Yet to Come," which is not, I didn't even know that song existed. I only have like 4 Frank Sinatra songs that I play ever, and that's the only ones I know, and "The Best Is Yet to Come" is not one of them. And I was thinking, that happens sometimes when we're all downstairs and we're like talking, and Siri will go off thinking we say, "Hey Siri," and then it'll like play a random song that it thinks we pick up. Like I'm sure Alexa does it too. But nobody was downstairs in the kitchen near the Siri. So I was like, it couldn't have picked up anybody's voice. And if nobody's phone is connected to the Siri, then it's not playing off of our phones. So I have no idea how it played that song. I have no idea why it played that song. The only thing that's not unsettling about it is that it's a positive song, so I guess it's a little less spooky, but it's just like doesn't make sense in my brain. Like I still can't figure it out. If nobody was in the kitchen for the voice to be picked up, and nobody's phone was playing music, literally how would it just start randomly going off? Like, it's a little unsettling to think about for sure, but at least it was a good song. So yeah, that was the first thing that happened in a really long time that I was a little unsettled with. But that's kind of all that happened. I know it's not really that crazy, but it was definitely like, that's really weird. But yeah, so now on to the next thing that happened. So I feel like all of the stuff that happens happens in like chunks. So a bunch of random weird things will happen and then nothing will happen for like months that I can think of or remember, or that I like realize are happening. I don't know if it's just like I stopped paying attention or really nothing does go on. But all of this stuff that I'm about to tell you happened in a really short time span, which is why, like, if it all happened really spread out, I really probably wouldn't think anything of it. We kind of just had like a lot of malfunctions in one day, which is like, if one of these things happen, it's not weird, but since they all happened together, I was like, so the night before all of the malfunctions happened, I was laying in my bed, like, doing nothing, as always, what else is new, and I was kind of just on my phone, whatever, and, I don't know how to explain this, but, well, I do, I'm gonna explain it. I have a heater a vent right next to my bed, and when it's on, I don't realize it, but I really can't hear anything, like, it, like, is kind of loud, but then when it goes off, I realize how silent the house is. So that's on, and I'm just like kind of distracted by whatever I'm watching or whatever I was doing, TikTok or whatever, and I didn't really realize anything. You know when you're like locked into a show or like whatever you're doing and you don't realize anything that's going on around you? That's what was happening with me. But then when the vent turned off, I kind of like realized I was hearing something. So I paused my show and I like stopped for a second and I'm listening, and I hear so much commotion going on in the room next to me, our guest room. That's also the room with the rosaries in it that were hanging on the door. If you watched my last spooky video, you know what I'm talking about. So I always feel worse vibes in that room, by the way, but I know what it sounds like when just the wind's blowing or like it's just nothing, and I know what it sounds like when somebody is living in there, because one, my sister used to, that was her old room, and two, that's where my brother stays when he comes home to visit. So obviously I know what it sounds like when people are doing things in there, like opening the drawers and like moving things around and just like living in there. So I pause it and I'm like trying to convince myself it was the wind, or trying to convince myself it was like the house settling and it was just something creaking. But when I tell you, it was so like realistic. Like somebody was in there, drawers were opening, things were like getting picked up and like things like that. Like I just heard commotion going on, and I'm laying there, I'm really freaked out because it's nighttime, and like this time I was freaked out. So I decided to like get up and check it out, and nothing's moved, nothing at all. Like it was like everything was untouched. I was looking at everything. I was like, did something fall off the wall? Did there something, like something, any sign of movement? And there was nothing. Everything was completely normal. So then the next day comes and I kind of forgot about it, and I was just going about my day, whatever. And then weird things throughout the house started happening throughout the day. It would be like, so we have like a our sink turns on with like a sensor, so it's like a motion sensor instead of like a handle. So me and my mom would be like, would turn the sink off, walk away from the sink, and then like go into another room, and we would just hear the sink turn on again, which is so scary. And we were like, okay, that's weird, that's a little spooky, but we kind of, again, like we always do, because what else are you gonna do? We just ignored it, whatever. So obviously that day we heard other things, like weird sounds, like nothing I could put a finger on what it was, but just like weird things were happening. Just felt like the vibes fell off. But again, nothing too crazy until that night. This is like the scariest thing ever. So I was sitting in my living room and I was just watching TV. Everybody went to bed and it was pretty late. I stay up really late, fun fact. So I'm sitting in the living room, it's like 2 or 3 in the morning, and for context, just so you understand what is going on, we have an alarm system, and it, when you open a door, either the front, like any door, it tells you what door opened. So I'm sitting in the living room and I hear patio door. I'm losing my mind. If you don't know, I am the biggest scaredy cat ever. I genuinely was like thinking in my head, I was like, okay, did someone just break into the house? Like, what's going on? Because my parents are both asleep. I'm praying with everything in me that one of them came downstairs really quietly and opened the door for the dogs. But then I'm thinking, I was like, I didn't hear the door open. Now, our patio door is a sliding glass door, so those are like super loud to open. And I didn't hear the door open, so I was like, I get up and check, and the door is literally locked. I don't know what that malfunction was. It never happened before. But what's funny about that is my dogs are like sensitive to that noise now. So if they hear patio door or whatever, they're gonna jump up and go to that door. They like kind of know now. So even I have a German Shepherd, and he was laying with me, and he like perked up and walked over to the door thinking he was gonna be let out or something, and he was confused. I was confused. Especially combined with the noises that we heard earlier and the sink randomly turning on, like 2 malfunctions like that in a day. No thanks. So yeah, that was definitely unsettling, but again, kind of ignored it. Not kind of, I did ignore it, because like what else am I supposed to do? Call the police? Like, they come here? It's actually a ghost, so I don't know if you want to, like, what am I supposed to do? So I let it go, and then, in the same week, this happened, what I'm about to tell you, and this was kind of like the tip of the iceberg for us, where I was, like, absolutely terrified, and I knew, like, I always know that there's, like, a point where I'm, like, okay, now I have a scary story to tell on YouTube. Like, this is where I was, like, okay, this is getting added to the story times, because, like, little things will happen all the time, you guys, like, all the time, but I usually just let them slide and don't tell you guys because they're super little. Like, I'll just hear a knock, or I'll just, you know, but it's not until something big happens where I'm like, okay, the story's ready to be told to everybody. So it's a few days later, the same week, and I'm laying in my bed, and why am I always laying in my damn bed in all these stories? Okay, well, I guess you guys know what I do with my day. So I'm sitting in my room doing nothing, as always, and my mom is like calling my name, and I'm like, what's up, homegirl, what do you need? She's like, you are not going to believe this. And like, what you're thinking, picture anything you think this could possibly be, and it is totally like the opposite. Like, I was never in a million years expecting her to say this. She tells me to come to the stairs, and I do, and she's like, look what I just found in the corner of our staircase behind a vase. Like, we have like a flower vase in our corner of in the corner of our stairs. I take a look. There is no explanation for this. None, zero. My dogs aren't doing this. My dad sure as hell isn't pranking us like this. And my mom was very concerned and is also not pranking us like this. So I go and look, and I kid you not, there is a knife in the corner of our stairs behind a vase. Now, the knife, it's not just any knife. It is a knife snapped in half. A metal knife snapped, broken in half, and hidden behind a vase on the corner of our stairs. I literally couldn't even make that up. I don't know why it got to that point, and that's where I was, like, terrified, but that one was really unsettling. That is just, like, spooky. That is scary. And I usually, like, if I can have an explanation to things, I don't really tell you guys. I usually just tell you the stories that I have absolutely no explanation to, and that one, none. So yeah, that was kind of like the last straw for me when I knew I had to tell you guys, because like all of those 3 things in 1 week, no thank you. Absolutely terrifying. Okay, so I am ready, and coincidentally, that is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's chill and kind of half-fast, but I wanted to just give you guys a quick update. And I also know it's kind of weird that I did my makeup while telling you guys scary stories, but I just didn't want to just sit and talk to the camera. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below for more videos from me. And turn on post notifications so you do get notified every time I post a video. If you liked this video, I also do have so many more videos just like this one that you can go binge watch and see the other scary stuff that has happened to me, because stuff 20 times worse than the stuff I told you today has happened, believe it or not. So you can go watch those. I have a playlist of all of them. I love you guys so, so much, and I will catch you on the flip side.